Thousands of people have mysteriously vanished in America's wilderness. Under strange and unexplainable circumstances. Most cases remain unsolved. What happened? Where did they go? Locations unknown.
Thousands of people have mysteriously vanished in America's wilderness. Join us as we dive into the deep end of the unexplainable and try to piece together what happened. You are listening to Locations Unknown.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Locations Unknown. I'm your co-host, Joe Irado, and with me, as always, is a guy who narrates Morgan Freeman's life, Mike Van de Bogart.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you once again to all of our loyal listeners for tuning in. Quickly, we just want to give a new Patreon shout-out to Corinne Manning. So thank you,
Corinne.
Signing up. Can't thank you enough. It's like a broken record, so I'm not going to go into that spiel, but thank you. If you want to call the show and leave a voicemail or text us, you can call 208-391-6913. The crazier, the better, and we've been getting a lot of voicemails in anticipation.
I am so excited for our live stream
Yes.
show to go through those and with Andy around, maybe some other people online. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited for that.
So the live stream will be April 23rd. Probably it'll start around 7 or 8 o'clock Central Time. We'll hammer that out here since it's coming up. But we're going to have a celebration of our studio because we're getting kicked out.
Yes.
Because I keep saying it, because the building's being turned into condos or apartments. So our current studio location will be unknown here pretty soon. But hopefully for not too long. So make sure to tune in on the 23rd of this month. It should be fun. We're hoping to, Drew, I know you wrote it down on the table last time you were here, but have you contacted Evan yet?
I have not.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe write a reminder on the table.
I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
Call Evan.
So, yeah.
You know what's sad? He doesn't listen to our show.
I know.
Because he would have already gotten this note 4 times now.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get North Dakota Ned or Montana Mike
I really hope
to call
so.
in. We haven't gotten an update on his Sasquatch wife in a while.
I feel like North Dakota Ned or Montana Mike should record themselves doing the intro to our show.
Yes.
And if they get it to us before the live stream, that could be the intro to the live stream.
There we go.
So just saying, if you're listening.
Just saying there, North Dakota Ned or Montana
And
Mike.
I want to say how great of a job you did on your solo episode, Mike. I want to read a comment I saw on Spotify. It says, much better show without the other guy. He is dead weight. Also, apparently, he is aging out of the game. 40 with 5 laughing.
Yikes.
So, yeah, I think you might be better off without me.
That's a tough comment.
I mean, yeah, but it sounds accurate.
You know what, though? It's a lot of work to man everything by yourself. So
I mean, I turned 40. I'm too old now.
You are getting old.
I got to do AM radio.
Yeah. Getting a little long in the tooth
I'm
there.
going to join George Norrie and just do coast to coast.
Except they're getting rid of AM radios in cars, so.
All together?
Yeah.
Why?
They're fake, because no one listens to it.
I mean, you can go on iHeartRadio and just get the station anyway.
So, with all that out of the way, I'd like to also mention we've got some other cool shows on our network that you can check out. Peanut Butter Mountain Podcast, Off the Trails, The Weirdos We Know, Who Runs This Park, and Crime Off the Grid. If you want to support our show, you can sign up on Patreon. If you do that before the 23rd, we're going to have a live stream of all our supporters during the actual big stream. Everyone will be able to watch, but their supporters will be able to interact with us and we've done these before, so they're pretty fun.
They're a lot of fun.
So yeah, if you sign up, there's also a lot of free swag. Not a lot of it, but you get a bumper sticker if you sign up, or a coffee cup, and
He just downsold
I know.
it. You're like, there's a lot of free swag. Actually, there's not.
there's some.
There's some good stuff.
But we're don't have
Mike's work. You're working on the store, and you got
Yeah.
you should have brought the blanket.
Oh, I forgot.
I wanted to see that blanket.
Darn it.
That's okay.
Yeah, we have a 60 by 80 inch kind of plush blanket with our logo on it that's going to be on the store. And we'll be offering discount codes to all our members so you can buy this stuff at cost.
Boom.
As a thank you, you can also support us on YouTube memberships, premium subscriptions on Apple, Spreaker, and if you don't have the money to support us, just tell your friends and family and like us and leave a comment wherever you listen.
High ratings, liking, subscribing,
Yes.
spreading the word. That's
There
the
you
best
go.
thing you can do for us. Well, all right, everybody, let's gear up and get out to explore locations unknown. Beneath the towering volcanoes of Hawaiʻi Volcanoes National Park, a dark secret lies buried. Hikers have vanished without a trace, their fates forever shrouded in mystery. What sinister forces lurk in the shadows of these island paradises? Join us this week as we dive into the chilling cold cases that haunt these lush, otherworldly landscapes. So we are back to Hawaii.
Back to Hawaii.
I feel like we were just here.
We were just here.
We were just here.
Yes.
But more specifically, just we're going to do how many cases are we doing?
So we have two. So we have first case is disappearance.
Okay.
Second case is a unsolved murder.
Oh,
And the third case is a rescue.
we are getting dangerously close to being a true crime show.
Yes. So we have a disappearance, a murder, and a rescue.
Okay, this is going to be a great one. So the location we're going to be hovering around is the Hawaiʻi Volcanoes National Park
I've been there.
in Hawaii.
Yes.
It was established on 8/1 of 1916 and sees roughly, well, at least in 2023, 1.6 million visitors. Just a little bit about the habitation history of the area. Human habitation likely began as early as the 13th or 14th century, with some estimates suggesting settlement around 600 to 800 years ago.
When I was researching this, and specifically this part, I could not get the songs from Moana out of my head.
From both of them?
Yeah, just because having little kids now, I've seen Moana probably 1,000 times.
At least the music's amazing.
Yeah.
The songs are very good.
Well, it's from that director.
Do they call you? And no one knows? Now it's stuck in your head. You're welcome.
But yeah, so this whole episode, when I was researching it, I was just humming Moana songs.
So it just drifts off into Moana lyrics. That's why.
Yeah.
All right. So this, the 600, 800 years ago, he said, so this is based on radiocarbon dating of cultural sites and artifacts found within the park, such as those along the coast and in the Kau Desert. These early inhabitants were part of a broader Polynesian migration to the Hawaiian Islands, which started around 1,000 to 1,200 years ago, though the specific timeline for the park's region aligns with later population expansion on the island of Hawaii. So, some interesting facts about the area. It has the world's only drive-in volcano. You can literally drive up to the Kilauea edge via Crater Rim Drive when it's open. Eruptions sometimes close it, if you can imagine. It's not every day you can park your car near an active volcano and peer into a steaming caldera.
The funny thing is, when I was hiking in Hawaii, we tried to go to this spot, and it wasn't erupting at that point. it like erupts all the time except when we were there. So I didn't actually get to see it.
The Vandy Bogey luck.
Yeah.
That's terrible. My
Yeah.
Schadenfreude is acting up. So the park's got, Mike told me not to make him laugh because
Sorry.
he's perpetually sick from children.
Yes.
The park's got lava tubes like the Nahuku Thurston lava tube formed by flowing lava that cooled on the outside while the inside drained out. Some are so massive you could fit a small crowd inside. Ancient Hawaiians used them for shelter, water collection, and even burials, making them natural time capsules. There's a plant that stabs back. The Amahu fern, found all over the park, has a sneaky defense. Its young fronds are covered in sharp, hair-like spines that can pierce the skin. Early Hawaiians used the pulu silky fuzz for stuffing pillows. In the Kau Desert, there's a spot called Kionihalili'i, and if you're from Hawaii, I apologize, where ash from a 1970 Kilauea eruption hardened around fleeing warriors' feet, preserving their last steps. It's like a volcanic Pompeii. Some say the prints still carry the mana, spiritual power of those caught in the blast. The volcano has a hair problem. Pete's hair, wispy strands.
Pele's.
Pele's. I don't know why I said P. I thought that was a T. I can't see. It's far away. Pele's hair, wispy strands of volcanic glass formed when lava gets stretched thin by wind, litters the park. It's sharp enough to cut you if you grab it wrong, and it's named after the volcano goddess Pele, who's said to fling it around when she's mad. Locals warn against taking it home. Bad luck follows. Did you take any?
No.
Is it protected, or I assume that it is just there, breaks, and it always goes. So like you probably could.
Anywhere I've hiked, I've kind of had the mindset of not taking stuff home with me because I've always kind of felt like that is bad luck when you take like something from a park with you.
I will. Now I feel bad. When I was on the top of Kilimanjaro, I kept a rock.
Okay, well it
was a tiny one.
Yeah.
But I guess if everyone does that, then it's not good.
I mean, there's lots of rocks.
I bet I'm in trouble. I didn't think about that.
Well, has your luck been bad since then?
I could I mean no,
So
but I could make an argument that it could be better.
I mean, you haven't won the lottery yet, but
I haven't, but most people haven't.
You're on this side of the landscaping, so
that's true.
It's working out okay for you.
Yep,
You're doing all right.
All right, yeah. Thanks, Mike. I'm feeling a lot better now.
There you go.
I mean, I turned 40.
Well,
that's bad luck.
No one can stop the march of time.
I know. That's all right. But I feel like with those, it feels like they're made constantly.
Yeah.
So like that seems like something that's like it's gonna break and shatter on the ground anyway. So if you see one, you can grab it and it's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know if I mean it's like it's cool, but
I'll
don't know
I'll
if
look it up.
I'd want to have one in my house. Like, hey, I've got this sharp piece of like hair glass.
Cool.
I guess
it's cool.
I don't know. It's bad luck. So
yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna look up if you're not supposed to, outside of like the superstition.
Okay.
All right, so there was an eruption that sank a submarine, which is very interesting. During a 1955 eruption, lava flows got so intense they reportedly sank a Japanese submarine from World War II that had washed ashore years earlier.
So submarines are not lava proof.
Not lava proof. It has the world's most active volcano. So Kilauea isn't just active. It's been erupting almost nonstop since 1983, with brief pauses when Mike shows up. It's added over 500 acres of new land to the island, making it a real estate developer in its own right.
Though I don't think you'd want to build your house there.
Well, if it can like be on the top and just flow with it,
I guess, yeah.
That's
how it works.
That's how. Yeah, that's what somebody told me. A crater that swallows itself. So the Halameo crater, Kilauea summit, has a habit of collapsing and refilling with lava lakes. In 2018, it grew from 280 feet deep to over 1,600 feet in weeks, swallowing its own floor like a hungry sinkhole. Here's some information about the climate. At lower elevations near the Kilauea Visitor Center, which is around 4,000 feet, it's typically warm and wet with average highs in the 70s or 20s Celsius year-round. Rainfall averages 100 to 150 inches annually.
Lots of rain.
Lots of rain. Trade winds from the northeast keep it humid, but they also dump most of the rain on the windward side, so the park's eastern edges get soaked while the west dries out. Climbing higher, say to Mauna Loa slopes at 7,000.
It's
Mauna Loa.
Yeah, there we go.
7,000 to 13,000 feet, and it's different world. Temperatures drop to the 40s and 50s, or 5 to 15 degrees Celsius during the day, sometimes plunging to freezing at night, especially in winter, which is December to March. Snow isn't rare up here. Mauna Loa can look like a ski resort in a big storm. Rainfall tapers off, though, with some spots getting under 20 inches a year, creating stark arid zones like the Cow Desert, where volcanic ash and lava dominate. I did not know there were places that got snow in Hawaii.
Yeah, we summited Mauna Kea when we were there, which is at 13,800 feet, and there was snow at the top, and we were there in August.
Okay. Were you prepared for snow?
I knew
or
it
were you
wasn't,
not staying there?
No, so it wasn't like, and we stayed overnight on top in this little cabin they had built.
Okay.
But I knew it snowed up there. It wasn't like all snow covered. It was like patches of snow.
Okay.
But it was still strange being in Hawaii seeing snow.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So the coast, like around Pauhui, is hot and dry, about 80s or 90s degrees Fahrenheit, 27 and 32 degrees Celsius, with less than 30 inches of rain annually. It's sunny and breezy, but the lava fields soak up the heat, making it feel like an oven on still days. Seasonally, it's split into wet, November to April, and dry, May to October periods, but dry is relative. Lowland still gets showers, just less intense. Up high, winter brings more cloud cover and occasional snow, while summer clears up but stays cool. So a little bit about the train. The train in Hawaiʻi Volcanoes National Park is a rugged, diverse sprawl shaped by its two towering volcanoes, Kilauea and Mauna Loa.
Mauna Loa.
Mauna Loa, jeez. And centuries of lava flows. Stretching over 323,000 acres, it ranges from sea level to 13,679 feet, packing coastal cliffs, steaming craters, lush forests, and barren deserts into one landscape.
It's like hiking on Mars. We crossed a lava field that was probably half a mile wide that had erupted in like the 70s, and there's no vegetation. It's just lava fields as far as you can see. It's like you're on another planet, and it just shreds your boots.
Does it... Do they talk about like how long it's going to take before it will be like vegetation will start to inhabit?
I don't remember specifically, but it's like a long, long time. I mean, eventually, like the whole island of Hawaii was a volcano, created by a volcano, and there's lush forests.
Well, yeah, because isn't volcanic ash like good for growth?
Yeah, it eventually will,
but not like lava.
Yeah, but like after a recent eruption, decades later, it's still just a barren wasteland, and it's super cool. But yeah, it just shreds your hiking boots. My boots were not happy.
It's like hiking on glass.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever held
obsidian,
like lava rock in your hand? How like porous and
yeah,
just it's like sandpaper. It's got that texture.
I can't wait to go.
Yeah, it's cool.
So at the coast, you've got black lava fields meeting the ocean with jagged cliffs and sandy pockets like Pauhui Bay. It's flat but harsh. Fresh lava flows from Kilauea often spill here, hardening into glassy, smooth or rough surfaces. Inland, the lowlands around Kilauea at 4,000 feet feature rolling volcanic plains dotted with craters like Kilauea, Ike, and steam vents. The caldera itself is a massive sunken bowl, miles wide, hundreds of feet deep, rimmed by fractured cliffs. When you get higher, the terrain shifts to the Cow Desert. Mid-elevation stretch is an ash-strewn wasteland, flat but desolate, with lava rock underfoot and sparse shrubs. Forests kick in around the same altitude, dense, wet strands of ohia and koa trees, their roots twisting over old flows, lava tubes like Nahuko, and carve hidden tunnels beneath some of the big enough to walk through.
So I just Googled your question about plants on lava. So it's really dependent on climate and conditions.
Okay.
If conditions are really good, it can be a few years. If it's harsher with, higher winds, higher altitude, it can take thousands of years.
Okay.
So it really is just dependent on the condition of the climate that the lava field is in.
That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
I believe it. Fresh and ancient lava flows overlap, creating a mosaic of black, red, and gray rock with cinder cones and fissures breaking the surface. At the peak, it's an alpine expanse, cold, windswept, and stark with snow capping in its winter. So some of the types of dangers: active eruptions.
Yeah.
You do not want to be caught in an eruption. Kilauea has been erupting on and off since 1983, and Mauna Loa's not dormant either. Last eruption was 1984. Lava flows can shift trails, block paths, or trap you if you're too close. Even dormant-looking areas can flare up with little warning. That would be terrifying. To die in lava?
I mean,
No, thank you.
yeah, it's, I feel, I don't know. I feel like you'd just be in such shock you wouldn't feel anything.
I would hope so.
It would
Just go quick.
It wouldn't be like Terminator where he's going in with his thumb up. Remember that scene from Terminator 2 at the end?
Yes. I would try and do that, I guess, if you knew you were just done anyway. Just go out cool. If the lava doesn't get you, the fog will.
The fog, yeah.
It's like smog, but worse. Volcanic smog. Sulfur dioxide from vents mixes with air to form fog, which can choke you, sting your eyes, or worsen respiratory issues. Windstall, especially near the Halema'o or sulfur banks. I know I said that all wrong. Stop laughing at me. There are steam vents and fumaroles. These hot gas outlets dot the landscape. Stepping on a weak crust could mean burns or a fall into a scalding steam. They're unpredictable near craters. Lava bench collapse. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Coastal trails like the Hawaiʻi Sea Arc sit on new lava benches that can crumble into the ocean without notice, taking hikers with them. The drops often 20 to 50 feet into rough surf.
Not fun.
Not fun at all. Sharp lava. The Pahoehoe, which is smooth, and the Aha, jagged lava cover much of the park. A slip-on can shred or break bones. It's like hiking on glass shards. Even the Pahoehoe gets slick when wet. And if that's not bad enough, we have crevasses and tubes. Hidden cracks, lava tubes, and sinkholes lurk under thin crusts. A wrong step could drop you into a pit. Some tubes are deep enough to trap you. We also have steep slopes. The Mauna Loa's upper trail climbs thousands of feet with loose cinder and scree making footing treacherous. A tumble could mean a long slide. And then on top of that, if you survive all that stuff, there's just trail confusion. So sparse vegetation and shifting lava mean trails can just vanish. In the Kau Desert or high on Mauna Loa's, it's easy to get lost without GPS or markers. We have sudden rain. It can make the ground slippery, as you said before, helping you fall down into lava tubes.
Yeah.
Or high altitude cold. When you're not getting cold at high altitudes, you'll be having dehydration and heat issues at lower altitudes. There's also feral pigs.
Yes.
That shoot lava out of their mouths. There's a lot of spiny plants, especially ones that will intentionally sting you, like we talked about before. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong in this park.
Yeah.
It's just some tips for hiking. You always want to check the conditions. So hit up the National Park Service website or visitor center for real-time updates on eruptions, trail closures, and weather. Kilauea's activity shifts fast. Don't assume yesterday's safe zone is still the safe zone today. Plan your route. You want to pick a trail matching your skill level. Short loops like Kilauea's Kilauea Aiki 4 miles for beginners, or the brutal Mauna Loa Summit 18 plus miles for pros. And you always want to tell someone your plan. Gearing up, you want to make sure you pack sturdy boots, ankle support. Lava's unforgiving, as you said, it's just going to eat up your shoes. And apparently, is it just constantly shifting side to side in your feet? I
mean, there were little trails that you could tell lots of people have walked on, but if you went off trail at all,
which you're not supposed to do.
No, but yeah, even on the trail, it's tough on your boots.
Makes sense. You want to bring layers for if it starts to rain, and remove them when it's hot. Stick to marked paths, so don't go off trails. Not only will it protect your ankles, it'll keep your shoes better off. So watch the ground. You want to test each step on new lava so you don't fall through into steam vents, lava pits, get a bunch of fog in your face, all the other things that kill you in a very hot, scalding manner.
Yes.
Monitor the fog. If the wind dies, you could too. Pace yourself, especially at high altitude. You want to make sure you're resting often and watch for dizziness or nausea. Coastal heat's no joke either. Slow down and hydrate. Stay visible. You want to make sure you pack bright clothing. It looks very good against black. Always beware of eruption alerts. If sirens blare or ground shakes, head away from craters fast. Rangers will guide you if they are near. Lava's slow, but it is relentless. And last but not least, coastal caution. Stay back from lava benches like the one we talked about before, Hawaiʻi. They collapse in the sea without warning. Especially if you have all your gear on you, you could drown. So, Mike, how about you kick us off with the first case?
So the first case, and I can't believe this happened, but
his name?
I forgot to put the name in. So I don't know, Joe, talk for a second.
Okay. I think it was Lynch.
Timothy Lynch.
Jonathan or Timothy Lynch?
We'll cut all this out.
No, we won't. That's fine. I want to see which one of us is right.
Timothy Lynch.
All right. I got the last name. You got the first name.
There we go.
We're such a good team.
Good team. Bad researchers. Forgot the name. First subject of tonight's episode is Timothy Lynch. Date of birth was April 12th, 1959. He went missing on June 6th of 2003. His remains have not been found. He was a male, age 44. His height was 5'8" to 5'10", and he weighed around 180 to 190 pounds. He had brown hair, brown eyes, possibly had a goatee. He was last seen in gray, silver, cross-training sneakers. He had a black shoulder bag, likely for carrying a camera or personal items, as he was taking photographs. But we don't have any more information on specific clothing beyond what I just talked about. And out of the three cases, this one was the sparsest with information, so there just was not a lot of information on him. But so the location of where he went missing is the Chain of Craters Road. So it ends near the coast where Kilauea's lava flows were active in June 2003. And it just was kind of a hazardous area, so thin crusts over molten lava, hidden fissures, and lava tubes. So Lynch arrives in Hawaii late May to early June 2003. We're not sure on the exact time. He likely was staying at a hotel on the Big Island near Hawaiʻi Volcanoes National Park, and he rented a car. And this is we don't know much more about what he did before he went to the park. So it's now June 5th, 2003. This is a rough estimate based on all the information I could find. So he was presumably exploring Hawaiʻi Volcanoes National Park, possibly visiting the Kilauea volcano or the Chain of Craters Road.
Look at this.
Yeah, it's like you're on another planet.
That is wild.
Yeah.
This is like, what's the movie where he's on the top of the waterfall? It's an alien. He drinks a thing and he body dissolves. Prometheus. That's what it makes me think of, Prometheus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's cool. Is this what you were hiking across?
No, no.
Not like this specifically, but this type of terrain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it looked like that. It was redder. It was older. So,
interesting.
This looks fresher.
So does it get redder because it's like the iron is start to rust?
I think just over time the color changes. So
obviously over time. I want to know why.
Fresh lava flow, I believe, is darker and blacker.
Okay.
So
I'll look that up.
Yeah, I mean, look up some of the Mauna Kea hikes, and I can see if I remember any of the spots. I was going to put some pictures from the hike on there, and I forgot. So it's now June 6, 2003. So this would be the last day he was actually seen. So he was last seen hiking and taking photographs at the end of the Chain of Craters Road in the park.
Hold on, you reversed it. Older ones are dark, newer ones are red.
Oh.
So old lava flows absorb light in all three wavelengths, so they appear dark. Molten lava, and to a lesser extent, freshly solidified lava glows in shortwave infrared light, but absorbs near infrared and green light, so it appears red.
There you go.
You were walking on a dangerous one and you thought it was an older one? It's
it
more red.
was
It's
active.
fine.
We were fine.
Yeah, this is just hot underneath. That's why it's red.
Maybe that's relative, like active
Yeah.
recently.
Okay, go on.
So, like I said, he was at the area. It's a remote area where the road terminates near the active lava flows into the Pacific Ocean. And he was alone. He was carrying, like I said, the black shoulder bag and wearing gray and silver cross trainer sneakers. Witnesses, likely other tourists and park staff, report this as his last confirmed activity, though the exact time of day was not specified. So later that day, he failed to board his scheduled return flight to Indiana, which raised initial concern. And this really marks the point where he officially becomes unaccounted for. So it's now June 7th to the 12th of 2003. Lynch doesn't check out of his hotel, nor does he contact family or friends. His rental car remains unreturned. It's now June 13th, 2003. His rental car is found abandoned at the park entrance near the chain of craters road, close to active lava flows along the volcano's coast. The car is located by park rangers, parked in an area accessible to tourists, but near, like I said, the hazardous terrains. There were no signs of struggle or Lynch's presence noted around the car. So at this time, National Park Rangers began an immediate search of the surrounding area. The Hawaii Police Department is notified.
Here's the end of the road.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit more vegetative.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's the arch that everyone talks about.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a hard area to get lost in.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a person up there. Like, there's nothing to hide.
Yeah. I mean, when I was hiking out there, it seemed like a place you could get lost, but like it's not, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to describe unless you've been there.
Yeah.
And obviously our third case, the guy did get lost.
Yeah.
For several days. But like I said, the Hawaii Police Department was notified and the case was logged as a missing persons incident. It's now June 14th to June 20th, 2003. An extensive search is conducted by park rangers involving foot patrols along the chain of craters road and the coastal lava fields. The rugged volcanic terrain with active lava flows, fissures, and unstable ground complicate search efforts. While specific details are hard to come by, standard protocol for such incidents would have included helicopters to cover the vast area of the park, which is over 323,000 acres, and possibly search dogs, though we don't have any confirmations of specific search techniques on this case.
It just looks so, it's so flat.
Yeah.
And so lacking of vegetation, I can't imagine why it'd be so difficult to find somebody if they were there.
Yeah.
Like, look at this.
Oh, we'll go into some theories.
If I was wearing yellow, you could see me from across the entire park.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was wearing yellow, but flying over this with a helicopter, I feel like I'd be able to spot somebody. Unless they were wearing all black, ashy clothing laying on the ground.
Yeah.
All right, go on.
So during 2003, the volcano was active and intermittently erupting, so it did pose a risk to searchers and hikers in the area. So late June 2003, after weeks of searching with no findings, the active search transitioned to a passive investigation. Again, we don't know the exact date this happened, but the extensive search that did happen yielded no trace of Lynch, no body, no clothing, not his bag. The Hawaii Police Department, in coordination with Indiana authorities, so Warwick County Sheriff's Department, took over the case, treating it as an unsolved missing persons incident. So from July to December of 2003, authorities follow up on Lynch's hotel belongings. Most items were left behind, suggesting no intent to flee. Rental car records and flight details. They also determined there was no evidence of foul play or voluntary disappearance. So, between 2004 and 2005, periodic reviews by Hawaii and Indiana police occur, but no new leads surface. The case grows cold due to a lack of evidence and the challenging environment of the disappearance site. In December 2005, Lynch's estranged wife files a petition with Warwick County, Indiana, to have him declared legally dead. This is granted, likely under Indiana law, allowing such declarations after prolonged absence. And as of today, April 2nd of 2025, the case remains unsolved, and there's been no new evidence, sightings, or remains on this case. And this is why I picked it for a cold case, because it's an interesting case, but there's just not a lot of information.
Like, look at how easy it is to see those two guys. They're pretty far away. And
Yeah.
You can just pick them out. Like, I saw them from this far away. Like, oh, look at that pixel. It's different.
Well, here, let's go into likely theories.
Okay.
So,
I thought this was fire coming out at first.
right. So, first theory that a lot of people believe is what happened is accidental death due to volcanic terrain. So, Lynch could have fallen into a lava tube, crevasse, or unstable volcanic ground while hiking or photographing near Chain of Craters Road, where active lava flows were present. Lynch was taking photographs, which may have distracted him or led him to venture closer to dangerous edges for a better shot. His cross-training sneakers would have offered limited traction on the jagged volcanic rock, increasing the risk of a slip or fall. And then lava flows or subsequent eruptions could have covered or destroyed his body, explaining the lack of evidence despite an extensive search. Now, the counterpoints to this theory, which there were no witnesses reported seeing him fall, though the area he was in is pretty remote, and search efforts, while extensive, may not have covered every possible crevasse or tube due to the landscape shifting constantly when it's active. Mm-hmm. So,
well, these guys are sunken in there.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. So the plausibility of this theory, I would say, is high. The volcanic environment is inherently dangerous. An accidental fall are a documented risk in the park, especially for solo hikers unfamiliar with the area. Another possible theory was he was swept away by the ocean. I don't know about this specific.
Like if he was on one of those lava shelves?
Yeah, he could have fallen off. I don't know about this specific area in Hawaii, but when we were on the island of Kauai, on the north side of the island, they warned us about riptides were really, really strong. So there's a chance if he fell in to the ocean, you could have hit your head or something and fallen in.
Sure.
And he could have been swept out to sea and no one is ever going to find him. So Lynch approached the coastline near where lava meets the sea and was swept away by a rogue wave or lost his footing on wet, slippery rocks. Like we said, the Chain of Craters Road terminates near the Pacific Ocean, where the lava flows create dynamic and treacherous coastal cliffs. The area is also known for unpredictable waves and strong currents, especially during summer months, which could easily pull someone into the sea. And his interest in capturing scenic shots might have drawn him to the water's edge, which is a common spot for tourists. And like I said, if his body fell into the ocean, it would get carried away, possibly. Mm-hmm. Again, the counterpoints to this were no one witnessed him fall in, and there was no specific evidence on the coastline, like a dropped camera or a bag or anything like that. So, I mean, he could have just fallen in completely with all his stuff, but, there was no evidence that he fell in. So, plausibility of this one, I would say moderate to high. Coastal accidents are a thing in this part of Hawaii, so it does happen. And the lack of remains aligns with an ocean-related incident, though it's not really tied directly to volcanic activity. It's just more he slipped and fell in. And you were looking at pictures of the coastline. It's jagged, rough surf.
Yeah.
It's not like a beach at a resort. So, I think this one's pretty plausible. Another theory that people had was he was overcome by volcanic fumes. So Lynch would have been incapacitated by toxic volcanic gases emitted from active vents near the road, leading to disorientation or death, with his body later obscured by lava or terrain. Like I said, the volcano was active this time of year when he was there. He had no one else with him to assist him if something had happened. And you could even say, like, if he got messed up in the head from these fumes, he could have just walked off the cliff. So, I mean, it could have caused an injury like that just due to him not thinking clearly because of the fumes. So, again, there actually were no reports of strong gas emissions specifically on June 6th of 2003, though conditions vary daily and are poorly documented around that time. So it's possible there were gas emissions and it just wasn't documented.
Okay.
And searchers would have been equipped to handle such conditions, and they still found no trace, suggesting he wasn't near a major event. So plausibility of this one is probably a moderate. So it's possible, but this theory relies on specific environmental conditions, not explicitly confirmed. So it's making it less likely than a physical accident. So I think
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's less likely. Then you have voluntary disappearance. So even law enforcement said this one was not very likely. So the theory goes Lynch intentionally staged his disappearance to start a new life, abandoning his rental car and belongings to avoid detection. I would say the plausibility of this one is low. Without concrete signs of intent or a trail of post-disappearance, this theory lacks the substance. And with the episode I did last week, there was some post-disappearance evidence. The lady, Thelma, a check was cashed in her name 7 months after she disappeared. And law enforcement examined the check and they said it was signed by her. And this was in the 80s. So they didn't
someone who's really good at her signature.
Or that, but there were a lot of other signs. Her husband had ailing health and was much older than her. She was going through depression for loss of her mother recently. Okay. And there were rumors based on things her pastor said that she was having an affair with someone else. So that was maybe the first case we've ever done where I've actually thought voluntary disappearance was the most likely theory.
Okay.
So I don't think this is at all likely in this case. I don't think it's...
No signs or reasons?
No. And then the least likely is foul play. So the theory would go Lynch was attacked, robbed, or killed by another person in the park with his body disposed of or hidden. Now, the funny thing is the next case is a murder in this park. But and what would be more convenient than an active lava flow to conceal a body?
Yeah, it's going to literally get rid of all the evidence.
Yeah. So, but law enforcement said they ruled out foul play in this. And the lack of any forensic clues or witness accounts makes probably more of a natural cause, like a fall or something like that, not a murder. So,
yeah, I would agree with that. I think I think he had to have fallen into something just because of how easily you would be able to see a body.
Yeah.
I of all the ones I've looked at, there's some areas that are more vegetative, but there's very clearly marked trails, and a lot of people seem to be on them.
I think he either, like you said, fell into something or fell into the ocean.
Yeah.
I think those are the two most likely scenarios.
That would be something.
Yeah. And I think the fall into the ocean would align with him trying to get a good shot. Maybe he was trying to get close to where the lava goes into the ocean, and he was trying to get that perfect shot and just slipped.
Yeah.
And fell in.
And just or it crumbled, the shelf broke out.
And think even if people are around, someone could fall in so quick, and if he didn't make a sound doing it, you would never know.
Yep.
You just look back oh, he must have hiked somewhere else.
Yep.
I'm not that aware. When I've been hiking, I'm not that aware of other hikers off in the distance. So I don't know that I would necessarily, if someone was there 1 minute and then I look back and they were gone, that I would be like, oh, where'd they go? I just think like they hiked away.
I agree with that because
So-
I've had that happen.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen somebody and then I turn around and then they're like gone. I'm like, oh, they could have went around the corner.
Yeah. So, yeah, interesting case. Still unsolved all these years later. So,
You cannot take Pele's hair.
yeah, you can't.
You cannot.
Okay. I figured that. Hawaii is pretty
I did too.
strict about stuff like that.
Well, I think most national parks are say like don't take stuff. I just didn't know if that was like, you know, sometimes I feel like there's things that like get produced so frequently that if everybody took as much they could, it would it would always be there. I was wondering if it was something like that.
Is it more rare?
Well, it's not more rare. It's just kind of pointless to take because they're really wispy.
Yeah.
And
break really
they
easily.
break. They said like gets in your eyes.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, and you have
it's
the
like
bad
not
luck thing.
Yeah. So like it almost seems like you wouldn't have to make it illegal because nobody would want it. It's just like, you know when you get fiberglass in your fingers?
Yeah.
It seems like from what I'm reading, it's just that.
Yeah.
It's like just grabbing fiberglass.
Yeah.
It's just like, no.
Yeah, it's just good advice never to take stuff out of a national park.
Yeah, but apparently especially not that.
Yes. So our next case is Armin Bernard Johnson. So date of birth was roughly 1960 or 1961. He was last seen alive on April 11th, 2005. His remains were found on April 13th of 2005. He was a male, age 44. We don't really have any description of body type on this one. At the time his body was found, he was wearing a tank top, swim shorts, socks, and slipper sandals. So right away, that tells me that he wasn't intending to hike in Volcanoes National Park. So just keep that in the back of your head as I'm going through this. Yeah, well, and the lack of protective gear or heavier clothing obviously might imply he didn't anticipate danger or a prolonged stay in the park. So something weird happened here. Personality. So this guy was a radio DJ. So he was described by friends and community members as a generous, well-liked, vibrant person. He was known for his positive demeanor, reflected in his roles as a reggae radio host and volunteer athletic trainer. He was very social and community-oriented, with a reputation for helping others, as noted in his work with the high school sports teams and involvement in Solid Rock Ministries. Some reports suggest he was laid back and possibly involved in recreational drug use, though this is not confirmed.
Are you telling me that the
reggae
DJ on the radio may or may not
in
have
Hawaii
in Hawaii may or may not be on illicit drugs?
That's what I'm telling you.
I'm so shocked.
Right. Though this is not confirmed as a factor in his death. His outgoing nature might have made him trusting, potentially leaving him vulnerable to somebody with malicious intent. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
We don't know about any medical issues he might have had. Like I said, he was also a reggae radio show host on KWXX weekend program. He also was a massage therapist at local resorts. And like I said, he was a volunteer athletic trainer for high school sports teams.
That dude was like living the life.
He was living the life. So the location where his body was found was Hawaiʻi Volcanoes National Park. The sub-location was the Kahuku Ranch area located on the southern edge of the park, west of the main visitor area like the Kilauea Visitor Center. So historically, this section was part of a large cattle ranch before being acquired by the National Park Service in 2003. Just 2 years before his death, it was acquired by the Park Service just 2 years before his death. It's less developed and less frequented by tourists compared to the park's central volcanic zones. Johnson's body was discovered approximately 100 yards or roughly 91 meters off the Mamalahua
So you know, usually do it.
highway near the 71-mile marker. This places it in a relatively remote, open area with scrubland and possibly some forested patches typical of this area. So We'll start the timeline. April 11th, 2005. This is his last known sighting. So he is reportedly last seen alive, leaving his workplace, likely either the massage therapy job or the radio station. He tells his coworker he is headed home, though his lack of a fixed address leaves his intended destination unclear. On April 13th of 2005, at approximately around midday, the exact time is not specified, a passerby discovers Johnson's body near the 71-mile marker of Mamalahoa Highway in the...
First of all, this has nothing to do with the case. It's like somebody was playing SimCity on Hawaii.
Are those all roads?
These are roads.
Oh.
Like, literally. Look at it. And there's only like a couple houses per block.
Yeah.
And every now and then they have like this thing going on.
Interesting.
Look at that.
Someone got the...
They like held shift and made roads.
Just a grid of roads.
I know. Why is that? Don't do that, Hawaii. Stop it.
So, like I said, they found his body near the...
Like, seriously, what is...
You're really hung up on this.
I am, because it's dumb. And there's only like 2 houses on each edge.
Well, maybe they planned on more.
Well, obviously, but who wants to live in a grid?
I don't know. It's
like,
Hawaii.
And somehow it's weirder than a normal city grid.
I don't know.
Wouldn't you agree?
I don't know.
You don't know? All right.
I don't know.
All right, sorry. Go on.
Okay.
I'm really upset by this.
So like I said, his body was found on the 71-mile marker of that highway near the ranch area of Volcanoes National Park, about 100 yards off the road. He was found wearing, like I said, his tank top, swim shorts, socks, and slipper sandals. And the National Park Service and local authorities are notified and start an investigation. Between April 14th and April 15th, an autopsy is performed. The medical examiner determines Johnson died from a single gunshot wound to the upper back or neck fired from a handgun. The wound's location and trajectory suggest an execution-style killing. Authorities conclude the murder occurred at the discovery site, not elsewhere, based on physical evidence like blood patterns. Between April 15th and April 30th, the FBI and the National Park Service's Investigative Services Branch take over the case due to the federal jurisdiction of the national park. Investigators canvass the area, interview friends and coworkers, and search for Johnson's vehicle, which is reported missing. No immediate suspects or motive emerge. So now his vehicle is also missing. So he's found dead, execution style, and his car is missing. Community speculation begins with some suggesting a possible drug-related connection.
That's immediately what I thought.
Due to his recreational drug use, though no evidence supported this. So it's now late April to December 2005. The investigation continues without significant breakthroughs. Johnson's vehicle, a key piece of evidence, remains unlocated and raises questions about whether it was hidden or destroyed. Friends described him as a generous, well-liked person, deepening the mystery of why he was targeted. So between 2005 and 2014, the investigation stalls. Periodic appeals for information yield no actionable leads. The case is added to the National Park Service's list of unsolved homicides, reflecting its status as a cold case. And over time, sadly, his death fades from the immediate public attention, but does remain a topic of discussion in that community. Now, interestingly, on March 11th of 2015, the FBI and National Park Service jointly announced a $10,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of Johnson's killer. FBI Special Agent in Charge Paul D. Delacourt and National Park Service officials renewed calls for witnesses, hoping the decade since the murder might encourage someone to come forward. The announcement was covered by local media, including Big Island Now and the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. But since 2015 to today, despite the reward and the ongoing efforts, no arrests were made. The case is periodically highlighted in cold case features like Locations Unknown, with authorities maintaining active tip lines. So since this is actually it's an unsolved murder, you can call Honolulu FBI at 808-566-4300, or you could call the National Park Service tip line at 888-653-0009 if you are listening and have information on this murder.
What do you think it is?
Well, here. I got some notes on the case before we go into theories, just to kind of recap. So, we don't know an exact time of death, so that is uncertain. The exact time of death was between April 11th, April 13th. The 2-day gap between his last sighting and the discovery suggests he may have been killed on the 12th, with the body lying undiscovered until the following day. But this is a remote location, so we just don't know. We've got the vehicle mysteries, so where's his vehicle? The absence suggests it may have been taken by the killer or abandoned elsewhere, potentially holding forensic evidence like fingerprints or DNA. And the thing about Hawaii, the Big Island, is it's an island. The car is on the island somewhere.
Yeah.
Where is the car?
Yes.
I mean, it was an old kind of like junker car, so it's not like
someone took it. It's in the garage.
I mean, it's not like Gone in 60 Seconds where they ship them onto containers and they're...
That's what I'm saying. Whoever got them probably take.
That was the thing I was thinking of when they said the vehicle was missing. I'm like, well, you're on an island. Like, it's there somewhere.
Whoever killed him was probably in a car with him.
Who knows?
Brought him out.
But the car, I mean, it's so long since this case, it's probably... the car's been destroyed by now, but at the time of his death, the car was on the island somewhere. I'm sure the authorities obviously know this, that they live on an island.
I would hope so.
So I'm sure they probably had, bulletins out to other law enforcement agencies like, look for this car.
Yeah.
But either way, the car, not having the car is a crucial piece of evidence missing. So we don't have any of the DNA that would be in the car. And public records, I don't know the make, model, or color of the car because it really wasn't publicly made available. So I don't know much other than that. We have no motive or suspect, so there's still no clear motive established. Theories include personal conflict, a random act of violence, drug-related incidents. So because it was an execution-style killing, I think that could narrow it down. So jumping right into theories, these are not really listed in any specific order, but we've got a personal dispute or targeted killing. So Johnson was killed by someone he knew due to a personal conflict, grudge, betrayal, and executed in a deliberate, targeted manner. The single gunshot wound to the upper back or neck describes, like we said, the execution style by friends and community members. And it obviously suggests intent and premeditation. He was a well-liked figure with a wide social circle, radio host, therapist, volunteer, not a therapist, massage therapist, and a volunteer. So he may have unknowingly crossed with someone that had a problem with him. And his missing vehicle could indicate the killer took it to cover their tracks. Counterpoints to this is there's no specific enemies or conflicts have been publicly identified despite the prominence in the community. And friends described him as a generous, conflict-averse person. And the remote location might suggest a planned lure rather than a spontaneous altercation. The next theory, which I think is maybe the most likely, is drug-related. So Johnson's death was connected. This theory goes Johnson's death was connected to recreational drug use or a drug deal gone wrong, possibly involving a supplier or acquaintance. Community discussions mention some unconfirmed reports of his recreational drug use, suggesting he might have been involved in a subculture where disputes could arise. That's a diplomatic way of saying it.
Yeah. I'm on that train.
Yeah, the isolated location of the murder would align with a clandestine meeting, such as a drug transaction away from prying eyes. And the execution-style killing fits scenarios where deaths or disagreements in drug circles lead to swift, decisive action. Now, the counterpoints to this theory are there's no concrete evidence that links his death to drugs. No drugs were found on his body, and his lifestyle doesn't strongly suggest deep involvement in drug trafficking.
Well, of course no drugs were found in his body because they would have taken him back.
Well, and I don't think drugs
believe,
were
like,
found like in his system either. I didn't read anywhere that
I would doubt that.
What?
Oh, like they're saying definitively they tested him for drugs?
No, but I'm saying the lack of that information being publicly announced implies that he didn't have drugs in his system. I feel like that's a crucial
I don't think
piece
it's
of
not in a
evidence.
murder.
No, but if you're trying to figure out what the motive is, if he had like cocaine in his system or heroin, you could narrow it down like, all right, this probably is drug related.
I disagree.
You think, okay, how so?
If it's just a sale.
Okay, but are you going to get killed execution style if you're just buying some drugs for recreational use? Or
Yeah. I mean, if you're buying a lot and they want to just take the drugs back and the cash,
what if,
like a junkie, like they sold it to him, he's walking away and he shoots him and then takes the drugs back. And
what about this? So he's a massage therapist. He's probably a lot of rich people on the island. What if he is a higher level trafficker of drugs and he's using, and something happened where there's a disagreement and that's why he was killed, but wasn't just for personal use. He was actually maybe a bigger seller of drugs than people knew. And because he's, around a lot of richer people that, massage therapy and, maybe that's his in where he's selling drugs to people.
Yeah.
I have no evidence of this.
That's why we're in theories.
It's a theory.
You don't need evidence on a theory.
So, yeah, I don't know. The attire he was in makes it seem like he wasn't voluntarily out there. Tank top, swim shorts, and sandals. It more sounds like he was snatched.
Or if he parked on the side of the road, was going off the road to make this deal, and intended to walk back to his car, or they're both in the car. That wouldn't make sense. Why would they go far away if they're both in the car?
Yeah, and I mean, you're already in a remote area. Why go another 100 yards off?
Unless they had him at gunpoint and made him walk out there.
I'm thinking he was at home, like chilling in Hawaii, like swim shorts, tank top, and whoever he pissed off showed up and said, "You're coming for a ride."
Okay.
And then they took him out there and walked him off the road. And I think it's drug related.
I think it's drug related.
Has to be.
Yeah. It just seems like there's no other reason why a reggae radio DJ that's widely liked would be executed.
Yeah.
Like it seems like
and I don't think
it's a money related thing.
I don't think it's just like he buys drugs for himself. I think he was
it'd have to be a large amount.
Higher up, maybe in the chain.
Owed money.
Like he bought a bunch of drugs to sell and then never paid him for it.
I mean, really, what they could have killed him somewhere else and dumped him there.
Well, the law enforcement said based on the blood splatter around where his body was found, they believe he was killed in the spot his body was found.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think he was snatched up.
He's a much larger cog in a drug machine.
Some guys showed up with guns like, "You're coming for a ride."
Man, you're coming with us, see?
Finally,
they still talk like that in Hawaii.
Yeah.
They haven't been told it's not the 30s.
The other theories were random act of violence, wrong place, wrong time, and stranger with a grudge against a public persona.
Those last ones make no sense.
No. That's why I didn't really spend a lot of time on them.
All right.
Okay. On how much?
We're at 1 hour.
Oh, okay. We'll cut that out.
Okay. No, they won't.
All right. Final case, and this is a positive one, a rescue. We don't do rescues very often because we're locations unknown. But the subject of this case is Gilbert Dewey Gadecki III. He was approximately born on 1964. He went missing July 17th, 2005, and he was found July 22nd of 2005. He's a male, age 41. We don't know anything about his body description again. Clothing gear he was last seen in, he was casual hiking attire. The specifics are not detailed, but it implied lightweight and for a warm climate. He carried a flashlight. He also had a camera with a mirror used to signal a helicopter. He wore shoes. We don't know what kind, but it was noted that it was shredded by the lava. Oh, and there's a picture of him.
I'm not showing it yet.
Oh.
There we go. There he is. Everyone's got the exact same picture.
Yep. So, personality, he was described as adventurous. So he drove alone at night to see lava flows, ignoring staff warnings. He was resilient. He obviously survived out there for 5 days. Resourceful, very family orientated, motivated. He was motivated by thoughts of his 2 young daughters, and he was very optimistic post rescue. So occupation, he was a computer consultant from Texas. He was an entrepreneur. He was a CEO of a Mingle. So it's per Crunchbase. Experience in the wilderness. A lot of news outlets, Chicago Tribune, CBS News, consistently called him experienced, implying prior wilderness experience. So, and obviously he demonstrated competence, once he got lost. I mean, he got lost, but then he was able to survive. So that's pretty tough to do. So timeline for this, July 2005, he travels to Hawaii's Big Island for a vacation. I believe he's from Austin, Texas. He was staying at the Kala Nihonua retreat.
Yeah, you totally nailed that one.
Thanks. Near the Pahua. Let me do that again. He was staying at the Kahalani Hunaha retreat near Pua, about 20 miles southeast of Hilo. His goal was to observe Kilauea's volcanoes, active lava flows, obviously a popular attraction. On July 17th, 2005, this is the day of his disappearance. It's afternoon, evening, so he spoke to cafeteria workers at the retreat about wanting to see Kilauea's lava flows. He purchased a flashlight from the retreat's gift shop, indicating he planned to night hike. Staff strongly advised against going alone due to the dark, uneven lava fields, but he proceeded. So it's now night, approximately 8 to 10 p.m. He drove his rented car to the end of the Kalapana Road, a 2.5-mile stretch built in 2001 for lava viewing, but closed when flows shifted. He parked near an old lava flow on the eastern edge of Hawaiʻi Volcanoes National Park, left his keys near the car, and hiked towards the active lava. After seeing the glow, he turned back but missed his car in the dark, becoming lost. It's now July 18th of 2005, so it's the morning. He awoke lost in the lava fields, expecting to find the road by hiking inland. Instead, he wandered deeper into the 333,000-acre park's rugged terrain. By afternoon, staff at the retreat reported him missing after he didn't return. His rented car was found that day with the keys nearby, showing no signs of foul play. By July 19th of 2005, the search began. Firefighters from Waikia Fire Station, park rangers, and volunteers launched a ground search on foot and horseback. Helicopters scanned the area, but the vast landscape yielded no trace. Meanwhile, he survived by licking moisture from vine leaves. It's now July 20th of 2005, so while he was stuck out there, he discovered moss on trees and vegetation pockets, and he'd squeeze them for muddy green water. This would be his primary hydration source. He estimated walking 10 miles over 5 days, mostly seeking water, and as the lava shredded his shoes and cut his hands and feet. During this time, the search efforts continued and intensified with no leads. His sister, Tracy Smith, flew from Houston to Hawaii, arriving Thursday, and made public pleas for help. On July 21st, 2005, Tracy appeared on local TV, and the family hired the Texas ECU search mounted search and recovery team to assist. At this time, he built a makeshift camp after 2 days, conserving energy while helicopters passed overhead, their noise offering hope, but no rescue due to cloud cover blocking his signals. It's now July 22nd of 2005, so it's the morning. The search persisted with at least 8 firefighters and aerial support. And at this time, his condition worsened, dehydration, exhaustion, and limping, but he pressed on, using his camera mirror to signal. Finally, Friday afternoon, July 22nd of 2005, approximately 3 to 5 p.m. local time, Peter Frank, a 15-year-old from Pasadena, California, on a blue Hawaiian helicopters tour, with his family, noticed a glint like a toy pinwheel in the lava field near the 1,500 feet of elevation. He alerted the pilot, Cliff Musi, who circled closer, revealing Gilbert waving a dark orange fabric and flashing his mirror. So how funny is that a 15-year-old kid on a tour was the one who spotted him? So that's amazing that the cloud cover finally broke and helicopters were able to get visibility, because I feel like he probably wouldn't have lasted too much longer.
Yeah.
It sounds like he was in pretty rough shape at this time, primarily due to his feet being shredded.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And dehydration. So at this time, once he was found, Frank's sister Hannah and a friend dropped water bottles wrapped in air sickness bags. Musi radioed Gilbert's coordinates to authorities, returned his passengers to Hilo International Airport, then flew back to retrieve Gilbert. Gilbert walked to the helicopter, dehydrated but stable. He landed at the Hilo Airport, where medical crews awaited, and he was taken to the Hilo Medical Center for a 3-hour evaluation and released that evening. So, in the following interviews, he spoke with media, including CNN and the AP, describing his ordeal. He said, "It was muddy, green, mossy water, but it worked. If it weren't for my feet, I'd be dancing a jig." He thanked Peter Frank, calling him a great kid, and met him on the runway to shake hands. His condition at this time, his feet were severely blistered and infected. Hands were cut, but otherwise intact. And he credited his daughters for keeping him motivated to survive. Following this ordeal, he rested for a few more days before flying home to Texas. There was a lot of national coverage at the time. Los Angeles Times, Chicago Tribune highlighted the rescue's serendipity and the survival ingenuity. But since all that kind of died down, he's really stayed out of the limelight, and there's really not been any new information about how he's doing. But kind of an amazing scenario. And
what are your theories?
This is what I would expect for someone going missing on a lava field, that you get found.
Yeah, I agree. Although I'm surprised it took that long.
Yeah, I mean, cloud cover, it sounds like it was cloudy for days, and thankfully for him, like, I don't know how many more days he could have made it.
Yeah, it seemed like with his foot being infected, you're getting pretty close, just seeing the end.
Yeah. So
that's
it's
awesome.
good to end on a positive note.
Absolutely. And thank you all again for tuning into our show. We appreciate you all for listening and sharing Locations Unknown with your friends and family. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, where you can find the videos of each episode. Also, if you'd like to support the show monetarily, please visit our website or Facebook store to buy some sweet, I can't call it swag. What do we have to call it? Merch. Yes. Additionally, you can subscribe to our Patreon account, YouTube, and Apple, where you have exclusive access to special events and additional shows for paid customers only. And when we do the live stream, we'll be able to interact with you directly.
Yes.
So sign up for that. And lastly, when enjoying the beauty of nature, whether backpacking, camping, or simply taking a walk, always remember to leave no trace. Thanks, and we will see you all next time.